Don, wet out here. Randy Rogers has a tough task this afternoon.
Randy's not particularly caring for this, Bill. You know, we met with him this week and talked to him. He wants to throw the football, and if it doesn't get any worse than what it is right now, he's going to be all right. He's a little bit concerned with this ball club because they are big. They're 6'2", 242 on their offensive line, but he thinks we can move the football, and I think we can too if we don't get too much rain. That's the big problem this afternoon.
It'll be interesting to watch. It's also a pleasure this afternoon, an honor also, to be working with former Harrison High School star and now the linebacker for the Minnesota Vikings, Scott Studwell. Scott, welcome back home. We got a running team against a passing team today.
Well, I think this weather naturally lends itself to the run-oriented offense that the Greyhounds are going to use today. And as Don said earlier, this weather's going to have a factor with Randy's offense as well. I know he wants to throw the ball, but I think they're going to have to establish something on the game today in order to make their pass offense work. And if this weather doesn't get any better, they might have some problems.
Well, we'll see. We'll be back with the kickoff and the start of today's game in just a minute. All your coaching years, which would you rather be doing, running or throwing out there today?
I would rather be running the football, of course, Bill, but, you know, Randy has two things he told us last week when we met with him. First of all, they like to get on the board early. Of course, every ball club would like to get on the board early, let that other ball club play catch-up. He wants to get on the board early, and he wants to get these Greyhounds out of their running game, and that's going to be the big problem today with the field and the condition it is. Right now, it looks pretty good. I think that we may have a pretty good afternoon here.
Well, I tell you what, I know as far as the players are concerned, they love playing in this kind of weather. It really slows the game down and makes it a heck of a lot of fun for everybody involved. And although it's going to be an extremely sloppy game today, I think they're going to have a lot of fun out there.
Scott, we were talking this morning at breakfast about how you don't like to play indoors. You want to move indoors today?
Well, I tell you what, regardless of the weather, I would still rather play outdoors in the natural elements where I think football was meant to be played. The dome stadiums are beautiful and they're great facilities, but I don't think they're meant to be played in.
John Vernasco and Eric Green are approaching midfield for the flip of the coin toss. They're meeting with the Indiana Central Greyhounds and the officials. This is the actual coin toss. Usually you flip the coin about 20 minutes before game time according to conference rules. This is the actual live coin toss. Because of the weather conditions, the coaches elected to wait, so the team that wins the toss can elect to either receive or take whichever into the field they feel will be to their benefit.
Also, Bill, of course, the wind has something to do with that, but today I don't think the wind's going to be that factor. The big factor is going to be that slippery stuff out there they've got to deal with.
That's Dave Williams out there with John Vernasco, the Aces co-captains for this season. Vernasco, of course, suffered the knee injury the night after, or the day after, Evansville won their opener against Wisconsin. Eau Claire. He has missed the last 3 games. The coin has been tossed. And let's see who has won. Ralph Pavick will be the Aces starting quarterback today. Coach Randy Rogers is not letting anyone know what his plans for the rest of the way for Vernasco are. We'll be hearing from Coach Rogers later on this afternoon. Now we'll find out how the coin toss went.
You know, Bill, in talking to Coach Rogers this week about Vernasco and, of course, comparing him with Pavick, he says, is a better long passer than a lot of people give him credit for. We saw him last week throw the bomb, and he's, I think, excellent on the short pass. Of course, he doesn't scramble like Vernasco, and Vernasco has that one advantage over him.
That's right. He'd be a good option quarterback is what Randy was saying yesterday.
Well, that's true. And, of course, with John today in the mud, I doubt very seriously if we see much of him because with the footing, maybe not too good. Consequently, they probably won't use him.
Right, I'm sure that would be a big factor. Indiana Central will kick off. The University of Evansville Purple Aces will receive the kick here on homecoming 1982 at Central Stadium. The field, again, as you can see, obviously not in the best of conditions. Evansville will defend the goal to your left. There you see the weather conditions, 74 degrees, the winds gusting up to 20, and the forecast is not exactly what you'd want to see. Scattered showers, the field condition wet and very slick, of course, natural grass here at Central Stadium. We had some thunder and lightning storms move through here about 10-15 minutes ago. Those appear to have let up. It is a little clearer now, and we're ready to start football. Evansville will receive to your left, Indiana Central kicking from your right. Marvin Gladney is back there, one deep back for the Aces. The kick is high, and it's going to come to Gladney at about the 3, to the 5-10. Straight up the middle. Look at the water slosh around. Breaks a couple of tackles and falls forward to the 25-yard line. And that's where the University of Evansville Purple Aces will set up the offense this afternoon. At quarterback will be Ralph Pavick. The starting running backs today will be Andre Collins and Donnie Austin. They are getting their first collegiate start here this afternoon, a couple of sophomores. Of course, the Aces without Bobby Lewis. Troy Staves will be the tight end. Gary McCall, the flanker. Jay Barnett will be the split end. Barnett is split to the near side. And the Aces, with Pavick at the controls, go to the shotgun. With the flooded receivers to the top of your screen. Now motion from Beatty. Pavick is back, looks, and complete. I believe it was Gary McCall at the 32-yard line, and the Aces come out throwing right away those short, crisp passes, Don.
This is the thing that Coach Rogers wants to do. By the way, Randy, we do have a matchup here that Coach Rogers said we ought to maybe take a look at. Our number 73, U of East tackle Mark Foster's, is matched up against Mark Bless, who's the coach's son of the Greyhounds. Both of them about the same size, 6'4", 240.
2nd and 1. Again, the Aces out of the shotgun. Pavick's got time. Over the middle, complete. Troy Staves on the reception just across the 35-yard line. Paul Logan in on the tackle. Logan, one of the Greyhound co-leaders in tackles. That's his 32nd of the season. Coming in, he and Pat Parks both had 31. Bernasco with plenty of time on that occasion and found Staves over the middle. He was wrapped up immediately. But the Aces have their first down. 14:06 to go in the first quarter. No score from Central Stadium. Lone running back for the Aces is Collins. Pavick with a long count takes a snap. This is Collins. Nowhere to go. And again, Mr. Logan on the scene to make the stop. They'll bring up a 2nd and 10 for Evansville.
Logan looks like, I think he had a little stunt going there, Scott. I think they had it not only on the outside, but they had a little stunt going on the inside on a 4 defense. We'll have to watch that. They may be doing quite a bit of that this afternoon with the weather like that.
I think they will. It's a good rundown blitz for him, it seems like. Logan made a great play for him.
McCall to the top of your screen. Barnett to the near side. On 2nd and 10 from about the 34. This is Donnie Austin across the 35 to about the 36-yard line. Pickup of 3. That was a 2nd and 13 situation, so Austin able to regain the original line of scrimmage before Mark Mays wrapped him up. And the Aces on 3rd and 10 will look to come out throwing. As you might imagine, sparse attendance here this afternoon with the weather conditions.
Well, it rains a while, Bill, and then the next thing you know, it kind of clears up a little bit. It's still kind of drizzling, but there's still quite a few diehard Aces fans here.
McCall split to the top of your screen with Staves in a slot left. Make that Barnett in the slot left. Staves split, now goes tight on the right side. Out of the shotgun with a back split. Picked off. Nobody's going to stop him. Pavick's the only man back there. This is Hughes. Down to the 5, inside the 5, down near the 3-yard line. Kurt Hughes, who had 3 interceptions to lead the team, just picked up his 4th of the year. Picks off Pavick's pass, and Indiana Central has the big turnover early. Here it is again.
That's a big play by Hughes. He read the coverage very well, and he just made an outstanding defensive play. That's going to hurt the Aces. They're going to have to come up with an outstanding goal line stand here to get themselves back in the ballgame here.
Indiana Central, 1st and goal on the Evansville 3-yard line. At quarterback, Dave Vollmer, a freshman, getting his first start. The backs are split. They're Scarpone and McKinley. The give to Scarpone down near the goal line, racked up, and is short, just short.
This is one of their favorite plays, Bill. They like to run the dive, and of course you get down there on short yardage. That's the best way in the world to get it in. Try to run over the guards and tackles. This big tackle of theirs, of the Greyhounds, number 73, about a 300-pounder.
The back split again. They're McKinley and Scarpone behind freshman quarterback Dave Vollmer on the keeper. He's in, and Indiana Central has the first points on the ball on the scoreboard after the interception by Hughes. Indiana Central able to drive 3 yards in 2 plays, and they lead it 6-0 with 11:42 to go in the first quarter. And gentlemen, how important is that? Because Randy Rogers said he had to get in front early.
Well, we got to play catch-up, right, Scott?
There's no question about it. I tell you what, you can credit Indiana Central's defense with that touchdown. Anytime the defense makes big plays like that, it always gives the offense a shot in the arm.
Mark Bohannon will attempt the point after. It's up and it's good. So Indiana Central jumps in front early, 7-0 on the big key turnover. Indiana Central now will kick off again to Evansville. Let's take a look at the University of Evansville starting offense this afternoon. Again, at quarterback will be the junior Ralph Pavick. Pavick, who has had 3 very fine games since taking over for John Vernasco, who was injured. The junior out of Rosemont, Minnesota, completing passes at 55%. Andre Collins, the sophomore, getting his first start as a collegian, as is his running mate, Donnie Austin, the sophomore from Gary. Troy Staves at the tight end position, the senior out of Minnesota. And Gary McCall, the wide out, along with Jay Barnett. Here's the kickoff. Again, this is Gladney. Check that. It's Austin over the 20 to about the 23-yard line before he stopped. And the Aces will set up 1st and 10. Pat Parks in on the stop. That offensive line, Scott Schuler, a freshman from Portage, a promising young prospect for Randy Rogers. Jim Peruker will be at 1 guard, another freshman from South Bend. Andy Dibble, the center, returning after missing a couple of games with an injury. Myron Warner, the other guard. And the other tackle for Evansville this afternoon, of course, Mark Foster. On 1st and 10, the Aces, just across their 20 at about the 23. Pavick to throw on 1st and 10. Complete. Staves at about the 28. Don, we're seeing a lot of those short passes.
We're going to see a lot more of them. Randy likes to do that. Coach Rogers likes to throw that ball, especially on 1st downs. He likes to get anywhere from 4 to 6 because he makes the next part of your series a little easier. They do an excellent job doing that, and like he says, it takes a lot of discipline to get a ball club to keep going at the short game quite a bit, is the way they do it.
Well, they picked up 6, so it's a 2nd and 4 situation. Again, Collins behind Pavick. Slot left for the Aces. Austin goes in motion.
He would like to throw long on this down, but of course it's difficult here. That ball slipped off.
And as the sun comes out, Austin slipped down. Ball's incomplete.
I tell you, Bill, as difficult as it is for the offense to get anything going in the air, it is as equally difficult for the defense to mount any kind of pass rush because of the footing out there. It's almost impossible.
There you see Mark Foster, the other tackle for the Evansville Aces offense, junior from Carmel. So Pavick will have a 3rd and 4 situation at the 30. Again, a slot left. Collins behind Pavick. Austin in motion to the near side. The give is to Collins, racked up immediately. And again, it looks like Logan was in there on the stop.
He's gotten off to a very good start for the Greyhounds. He's already made 2 big plays for them.
And Indiana Central will get the ball as Evansville will be forced to punt with 10.5 to go in the first quarter. And Indiana Central leading 7-0. Kerry Ballot will kick it away, the junior out of Lake Station. No superstition here. He wears number 13. He moves forward and gets it away. No flag, and no one's going to handle this. It rolls to about the 45, sloshes down to the 42-yard line. And that's where Indiana Central will set up shop 1st and 10 from their own 42, the Greyhounds, with a 7-0 lead. Let's set that Indiana Central offense for you. Dave Vollmer is the quarterback, a freshman, getting his first start out of Jay County. Bill McKinley and Greg Scarpone are his running backs. Tim Wessel, the tight end. Bob O'Hannon, and Dave Horvath. Indiana Central, primarily a running team, likes the option. Look for the dive a lot. 41 is McKinley. Scarpone is 22. Out of the eye. Here's the option. Ballmer on the keeper, breaks a tackle, gets to the 45 before it was brought down by Tim Wolf.
Bill, they don't have a lightning speed, and consequently they've had trouble getting to the outside in their last 4 ball games. Looking at their statistics, they really like to run that dive a lot, and they will run the option some. Of course, with a new quarterback, we don't know. We're up to see what he's going to do. But
Williams, Bates, Samuelson, and Hall across the front line. Ballmer again to about the 48. He's going to be shy of the first down. It'll be 3rd and about 4 for Indiana Central. We will not see many clean uniforms out there this afternoon.
you'd think Coach Blast patterns his ball club after Ohio State. They even have the same uniform.
Mike Perry is in there as a tight end. He's on the near side now. On 3rd and 4. Greg Mills on the carry, racked up shy of the line of scrimmage, and Indiana Central will be forced to kick it away.
That was an excellent series by the Aces defense. I think in order for them to have a good ball game today, the defense is going to have to establish some sort of tempo and keep the Indiana Central offense off the field.
I imagine, Scott, we've had to make some adjustments on our defense, don't you think?
Oh, I'm sure they have. There's no question that Indiana Central is going to try and just come right at the Aces defense and try and run their ball control offense that they're famous for.
Ty Kiesa and Tom Isaacs are back for the Aces to receive the Indiana Central punt. Mike Heyman will kick it away, loses a snap. Now he's in serious trouble. Trying to get it away, smothered. Picked up by Horvath. He's going to have a first down perhaps, gets across midfield, sloshes out of bounds, and he may have the first down.
That's going to be awful close.
Horvath picked up the ball. And got across the 50. They needed to get to the 48-yard line. See if he picked up the first down. They're going to measure. Mike Williams.
Call. This ought to be a good one, Bill.
Mike Williams seems to think they made it. The officials aren't quite so sure. They didn't.
Unfortunately, Mike doesn't get to make the call, right?
That's a big play for the Aces. They needed something like that. It's going to be interesting to watch all day, the special teams. The kicking team is going to be very important today, and that mishandled snap.
Scott, did he drop that snap, or was it just did it come back and dribble it? Do you remember?
It looked to me like he just dropped it. I'm sure the ball's awful slick, and that's going to be a big play for the Aces. Hopefully they can capitalize on it and get some points on the board.
Will be 1st and 10 for Indiana Central, or for Evansville rather, at their own 48-yard line. 7:51 to go in the first quarter. Indiana Central on top. They drove 3 yards in 2 plays after Kurt Hughes returned an interception of a Ralph Pavick pass to the 3-yard line. As you can see, field conditions are anything but ideal. Jay Barnett and Gary McCall go to the top of your screen. Troy Staves to the bottom. There's Ralph Pavick, the quarterback, as his back's in the pro set. Pavick back, looking, and that's almost picked off. Threw it behind Jay Barnett, And with the wet field, Barnett not able to redirect himself. Collins was back there. He's the man that almost made the interception.
I think the rush there might have had a little effect there. The Aces are going to really have to hold the people out up front and give Pavic time to set up. Scott, he looked like he kind of threw a little off balance. And in this mud, you have to get good footing.
Oh, there's no question about it. He threw off his back foot all the way there, and he was almost falling down backwards when he had to release the ball.
Again, a slot left. Brooks and Grant Gary. This is Brooks up near midfield before Kurt Hughes and Dwayne Luckring made the stop. There you see Brooks out in the flat, wide open and able to negotiate himself as far as midfield. Schmalfeld also in there. John Vernasco has entered the game at quarterback, so Randy Rogers has decided that the time has come for Vernasco to return. He has missed the last 3 games. Quarterbacked Evansville to their first win opening night at Wisconsin-Eau Claire. Vernasco the throw. Over the middle, complete to Staves at the 40, crashes down to the 33. Impressive return for John Vernasco.
It looked like he had a little more zip on the ball than Pavic. Did you think, Scott?
That was an excellent play. It really was. I think anytime you get your old starting quarterback back in the ball game, it's definitely going to give your offense a boost, and they're going to play just a little bit harder.
Well, as we saw there on the replay, that was he hit the man quick. Consequently, your defense didn't have time to react. A while ago, when we got the interception, it was because I thought the ball was thrown a little bit too soft.
I think so too, but I think a lot of that was probably due to a lack of experience on the quarterback's part also.
First and 10 from the 38. Vernasco to throw again out of the shotgun, flips it off to Gray, who gets down near the 30 before John Kennedy knocked him out of bounds. So Vernasco comes in and completes 2 passes. Here it is again. Just let the offensive line come right in and then flipped it right over him to Gray.
A little screen pattern. Also got a photographer, too.
They're going to measure again to see how shy or if indeed the Evansville Aces made a first down. Indiana Central leading 7-0 with 6:24 to go in the first quarter. Randy Rogers in his 3rd year as a head coach of the University of Evansville. Record at UE of 8-18-0. Overall, his 8-year career mark as a head coach, 33-25-0. Before Ralph Pavic left the game, he was 4 of 7 for 19 yards, and of course the interception which set up the Indiana Central touchdown early in the ball game. Aces playing out of a hole, trailing 7-0. 6 minutes and change to go in the first quarter. Bill Weber along with Don Watson and Scott Studwell down from the Minnesota Vikings. For reasons I'm sure Scott would much rather be in Minnesota today.
Well, there's no question about that. I tell you, just watching the game here is giving me a little itchy feet. I'm anxious to get back to work myself.
Well, I'm sure we'll expound on that as the afternoon goes on. Vernasco sure on the keeper, following Andy Dibble. Penalty flag on the play. Motion against the Aces, and that'll bring up a 2nd down and 6 situation.
You know, Bill, on that particular play there, I saw the center step out, and sometimes I think officials, well, wait a minute, well, the center did step out quickly. Of course, he's allowed to. He's the one who's got to snap. But sometimes I think we miss a call like that occasionally, especially when the center's allowed to be out first, and he's the guy that should, especially if they're going on a silent count or something like that on the sneak.
For you baseball fans, it is raining. They're in a rain delay between Milwaukee and California. In the American League playoffs, California, of course, leading the Brewers 2-1 in the best-of-5 series. I don't think St. Louis and Atlanta are ever going to finish their series.
Here's the triple, Scott.
The Aces are using a lot of 3 receivers to one side, which puts a lot of pressure on the defensive back, especially on the right corner.
Ooh, 88.
McCall had it, couldn't hang on, bounced out of his hands. Troy Staves was there and couldn't hang on. Ball's incomplete, and Evansville will go from a 3rd and 6. It's a heavy coverage.
Well, he had a chance at the ball. It was a good play by the defensive back. However, it's unfortunate the Aces did drop that ball.
Scott, is it an advantage for the receivers in this as opposed to the defensive back? The receiver theoretically knows where he's going.
Well, sure, they know where they're going, but I tell you what, with the conditions as they are and the ball being as wet as it is, I think that really takes away a lot of the advantage that they do have.
Graham Brooks, again, the running backs behind Ralph Pavick, who has returned to the game on 3rd and 6. Pavick in trouble, dumps it off. This is Brooks.
Come on, baby.
Brought down at the 35-yard line. Zakora there on the stop.
You know, Bill, here you see it, and what's really amazing is we get the people out here that we want to make the blocks, but invariably someone always, here's this little fella, he was really blocked down on the ground and got up and made the stop. So we say, where were you, fellas?
Bernasco is in on 4th and 5. Excuse me, in a shotgun or a punt situation, standing at his 41. Drops back, flips it over the middle, batted down, and the Aces turn it over on downs. Number 75, Mark Bless, the 6'3", 240-pound junior from Greenwood, the coach's son. Bats the ball down, and Indiana Central will take over at about their own 35-yard line, 1st and 10.
Tell you what, that was a big play by Mark Bless. I think the Aces had that middle screen set up very well, and I think they would have definitely gotten a first down if he would have knocked that ball away.
You know, Scott, number 50 is for the Greyhounds is Pat Parks. He was a linebacker. They played him at the nose guard today because of injury.
Well,
it's bigger than that.
Yeah, there's really not that much difference, although you're playing in a 3 or 4 point stance. Really, a lot of your keys are the same, and the assignments are very similar also.
Scarpone got to about the 36-yard line before he was drilled.
I think the U of E's defense, Bill, has been excellent, especially on the wide stuff. They're recovering well, and you've got to do it. But, of course, Coach Bless is, I know, concerned about their speed.
Brown, Brooks, and Schultz across the front for Evansville. Brad Love, Dave Fawnball, Phil Mortis out of Evansville Rights, and Greg Grulich are the linebackers. Bormore on the pitch to Scarpone across the 35 to the 40-yard line before he's dragged down. Ty Kiza on the stop. There you see Greg Grulich out of Heritage Hills High School.
That was an excellent play by Ty Kiza at that time, playing off the blocker and making that play. If he wouldn't have made that tackle, he had a lot of daylight out there on the outside.
Hoffman and Kiza, the cornerbacks. And Tom Isaacs and Tim Wolf are the safeties for Evansville this afternoon. Indiana Central on a 3rd and 4 at their own 40. McKinley across the 45, and he has the first down. There's Tim Wolf.
Are they trying to tell you something on the passing game? They haven't put the ball in the air yet.
That's right.
And you know, in the first 4 ball games, Bill, they were intercepted 13 times. They had 13 turnovers and lost the ball 11.
Had 24 turnovers, I believe, in their first 4 games. 13 of those were the interceptions.
Well,
that Coach Watson was referring to.
Thank you.
It's 1st and 10 for Indiana Central. 3:25 to go. The Greyhounds lead it 7-0. Here's the first pass. No, Bowmer pulls it down, tries to scramble across the 45, maybe as far as the 47. Well, Indiana Central's passing attack has been non-existent to this point. The Aces' running game has not been very effective. 3 carries, total 1 yard. Second and 9 for ICU. Backs in the eye with the slot left. Now to the pro set. Ballmer with the snap. Again, this is McKinley trying the left side. And a great tackle over there by Dave. Check that. That's Mike Conroy on the stop, who has had a fine season thus far, coming off the bench.
That was an excellent open field tackle.
That graphic shows you a shocking statistic, 76 yards in 4 games for a club that is primarily a running team. Again, it's 3rd and 9 at the 46. Flags all over the place. Believe it'll be a illegal procedure against Indiana Central, and that'll move it back. They'll have a 3rd and 14. And Don, I think we'll see the Greyhounds' first pass of the afternoon.
It would seem to be that. You know, it was at the beginning of our show when we were talking about this may be hurting the Aces with this field in this condition. If you're big and you rely on the running game, but you don't have that real breakaway back, Scott, it doesn't help your game either.
Oh, this is true. I think Indiana Central's just trying to grind the ball out, and their ball control offense up to this point has not been very effective for them.
Vollmer has 4 carries for 8 yards. This should be his first passing attempt of the afternoon. Looks over the Evansville defense on 3rd and 14. Looks over the middle, incomplete. Ty Kiza was back there. He complaining that Bob Bohannon had pushed him down, but the official was right there. No call, and Indiana Central will be forced to kick it away. Keep in mind that last time the Greyhounds fumbled the snap. Here it is again, Indiana Central's first pass of the afternoon.
That was very good coverage by the Aces secondary, because he did have a lot of time to throw that football. And if you don't establish any kind of rush.
He could have stepped up there in the middle too, Scott.
I think he had a little room to run, but as I said before, that was really excellent coverage by the secondary.
Kiza and Isaacs are deep for Indiana Central. This time, Bohannon will get it away. Hits at the 30, skids to the 20, and that's it. Dead right there. And U of E will again turn on the offense, hopefully, with 1:31 to go in the first quarter, trailing 7-0. Ralph Pavick will be in at quarterback. Pavick came into today's game with 7 touchdowns, averaging better than 55% completion ratio. Aces averaging better than 40 yards a game, better than their opponent. Total offense. The Aces, of course, 2-2, beat St. Joe last week in the conference opener. Pavick to throw on first down, looks right, and complete to Gary McCall.
That was a beautiful catch. One of those things where you turn back around, you're really looking the ball into your hands. You know, we're ranked we're number 6 in Division II in passing offense. Did you know that, Bill? With 260 yards a ball game.
Jay Barnett is 4th in the nation in Division II in pass receptions, averaging 7 a game, 28 for the season. Jeff Zubia of Pittsburgh State and Kansas leads Division II with 31. I didn't put it there.
Jeff Zubia.
Bernasco now returns to quarterback. Brooks is a lone running back behind him, a slot right, on 1st and 10 for the Aces at the 32-yard line. Bernasco dumps it in the air. It was almost picked off by Tim Motzinger. He had it, then lost it.
Well, that could have been another big play for the Greyhound defense, and unfortunately for the Aces, he just dropped the ball.
Here's what happens here. He had to throw high over number 75, which is the Bless boy, Mark Bless, and he's a 6'3" individual that moves pretty well. And we know we had that matchup with him and between he and Mark Foster. He put the pressure, throw it high. Only thing kept the Greyhounds from getting the ball, then the fella just dropped it.
Pavick returns to quarterback. Brooks and Gray in a pro set behind him. Pavick will throw. Look out. Dumps it. Complete, caught by Jay Barnett just shy of the 40. Good comeback catch by Barnett. John Kennedy wrapped him up. And we'll take a look at it again. Mark Mays was coming to say hello to Mr. Pavick.
That's right. That's why Jay's probably number, 4 in the nation in Division II.
That's right.
That's the reason.
Pickup of 7, 2nd and 3. And Vernasco returns. Again, Brooks and Gray are the running backs. The give is to Brooks, and he will go absolutely nowhere. And that should be the last play of the first quarter, and Evansville will be forced to punt it away. 5 seconds, 4, the clock will tick down, and the first quarter time will expire with Indiana Central leading 7-0. And Scott Studwell, we're about to start the second quarter of action this afternoon with Indiana Central on top of Evansville by the score of 7-0. Terry Ballot will kick it away for the Aces. Greg Mills and Horvath are deep for Indiana Central. Ballot will hit it at about his 29. High spiral kick comes to Mills at the 23, cuts it up the middle, to around the left, across the 30, breaks a tackle to the 40 before he loses his footing.
I think at that time, Bill, it was a good thing that we had a wet field over there. They had 2 men in front with one safe, whether it's a kicker back. If the boy could have made the cut, we might have had some problems there.
Here it is, they're showing on the replay. Indiana Central had a wall set up, and he did have a lot of room to run.
Those wet field breaks will even things out.
Right here, when he tried to make his cut back.
Jim Peruker over there to make sure he didn't get away. So Indiana Central sets it up, 1st and 10, just across their 40, leading 7-0. Just underway, second quarter. This is Mills. Slides across the 45 to about the 46-yard line. And Indiana Central is demonstrating what everyone knew. They are a running team.
You know, Scott, I noticed that their tailback was set about 5 yards today. Normally, they set that fella back 7 or 8, and I just wonder if they're doing that because of the field conditions.
Oh, I'm sure they are. I'm sure their timing is so much slower right now because of the field conditions.
Top 5.
That they're going to have to somewhat.
First man through is Tim McMitchell, the junior out of Indianapolis. McMitchell, a fine young running back.
Here's the guy that one of the coaches from Evansville told me this week. McMitchell, he said, look for him. He's a dandy, and he's very quick. He looks like he's small enough, too, Bill, that the mud may not bother him if he just runs over top of him. Can you do that, Scott?
I don't know. I don't have any idea.
So 1st and 10 now for the Greyhounds. McMitchell and Mills in the backfield behind the freshman quarterback. Former shows pass, and he's racked up and won't get it away. First sack of the afternoon. Dave Thornball, who leads the team in tackles with 42, in on the sack, and here it is again.
Of course, this is a dream of a lineman.
That was a big play for the Aces defense. Indiana Central started to move the ball, and the Aces looked like they were a little bit confused out there defensively, and anytime you get a sack like that, it always brings the defense back.
2nd and 19 situation now for Indiana Central. 13-12 to go in the half, and the Greyhounds on top, 7-0. Again, Vormore shows pass. Again, the pressure is on. He dumps it off along the near sidelines. Mike Schultz.
Phil Martis read the thing beautifully, Bill. He came up, but of course with the field like it is, he didn't get his base well enough, and they ran by him, but he read the thing well.
That was great hustle by Mike Schultz coming all the way over from the right side defensive end position to make that play.
You see McMitchell flaring out from his back position, showed blocked and flared out to the right.
There it is.
Got back to the line of scrimmage, so it's a 3rd and 19 situation. Backs in the eye. Former will look to throw again. Rolls left. He'll hang on across the 45, across the 50, 45, 40. Shy of the first down, however. Pretty move by Dave Former, the freshman quarterback, who Indiana Central people will tell you is their quarterback of the future, but Indiana Central's future with a 1-3 record is here.
Here he rolls out. Everything seems to be going to the outside with him, and he manages to keep his footing. You'll see an Aces player there lose his footing, and that was a good move on that young man's part, I'll tell you that.
You see it from ground level. Tim Wolf wrapping him up.
This is going to be a big play for the Aces defensively. 4th and about 3. If they stop them here on 4th down, I think it'll definitely pick up the Aces' spirits considerably.
Aces trailing on homecoming by a touchdown. 11.5 to go in the first half. Ballmer looks to go right and try to cut it back. Fumbles the ball. Recovered by Evansville, and the Aces take over on the fumble. They would have had it on the down anyway. Greg Grulich from Heritage Hills, the 5'11 junior, falls on top of the ball, and Randy Rogers' team will start their first offensive drive of the second half.
Scott Oliver looked good on that play. You can always tell a fella just came in. He's got that fine, clean jersey. And you can pick him up pretty good. He made a nice play there and kind of forced that fun.
They certainly did. I think it was a broken play on the Greyhounds' part, but nonetheless, the Aces did come up with a big play that they needed, and now maybe they can get something going offense.
Second quarter, of course, not second half here at Central Stadium. Havoc to throw on 1st and 10. Looks wide open. Is McCall at the 45 to the 43-yard line. Greg Schmalfeld in on the stop. And a fine move that time by Gary McCall. Here it is again.
Managed to keep his balance real well until he started to cut back.
Well, that's just what the Aces needed. They needed a big play like that to get back in the ball game, and if they can put a few of those back-to-back, they've got a excellent chance.
Why can't we get out of the middle of that mud, Scott? Why can't we get that thing over here on the side where we got a little better footing? But
well,
that's where it always happens, isn't it?
That's right. That's where all the action is, in the mud.
This is Andre Collins on the pitch. Down near the 38-yard line. Peter Schwartz on the stop. Schwartz, a freshman. Indiana Central with several freshmen seeing a lot of action. The quarterback, Tom Collins, a freshman. A young ball club. Pickup of 4, 2nd and 6 for Evansville at about 39. Bernasco returns to quarterback. Barnett split to the left. Drops straight back, looks, flares it out. Troy Staves at the 35. Wrapped up at the 34-yard line. Freshman Tom Collins in on the stop.
'81 was deep on the play, and so many times you'll see this here. I don't know whether you'll see him on our screen, but you see 81 at the top of the screen, and they hit 86 on a drag coming across, and usually people will say, why didn't they throw to 81? Well, invariably you throw to 81, you'll find those defensive backs stepping back there deep, and he would have been covered just as well.
Bama leads Penn State 7-0 in the first quarter. The Aces 3rd and 1. Second quarter action. This is Collins with a first down and more to the 30, down to the 25. Looks like he may have lost the football, but the Aces still have it. First down.
Took advantage of that grass, Scott.
They must be listening to you up here, Don. He got a great block from the lead back on that play and made a nice move outside and picked up some good yardage.
He's a little short fella that keeps those legs apart, and he's got good base on him, and consequently those people are hard to bring down.
There you see the first quarter stats. Time of possession that you don't see there.
Well, as you can see, the Aces are pretty well handling the total yardage with 61, and Indiana Central only 19 yards total offense.
Collins to this side, to the 25, down near the 23. At time of possession in the first quarter, Evansville 8.5 and Indiana Central 6.5. Here's Collins' run to the left side. Greg Schmalfeld made the stop. Bubby Lewis, who is serving as our spotter this afternoon, says he likes to watch Andre Collins run, that he's a low center of gravity runner, does a good job. His first collegiate start. Of course, Bubby would